Hello everybody, here we are today and we are continuing on with our season previews, and today we have the Detroit Red Wings. Now before we start, please make sure to subscribe if you're new to me or hockey, whatever the case may be. With it being said, let's get on into it. So Detroit by no means had a terrible year last year, but it was a little bit disheartening just from what we've seen in the drought, I guess if you want to call that, without the playoffs. You're hoping to see a build-up with Steve Yzerman and his vision for the team. And last year they cracked the 80-point mark for the first time in a while, but still did not make it to the playoffs. So with it being said, in another offseason here, what are some storylines to talk about for this team going into the season? So the first one is DeBrincat ready to be in a new place. Now, Alex DeBrincat is the shiniest new toy, of course, for the Red Wings from this offseason. Did an in-division trade with the Ottawa Senators and signed him to an extension right away. Kind of makes sense because from what we've seen from him already, 5 20-plus goal seasons, 3 30-plus goal seasons, in a pair of 41-goal seasons, you know he can be a goal scorer for you. And that's kind of the idea here for Detroit. They have not had a 40-goal scorer since the 2008-9 season, Marian Hossa, when he was there. And obviously that's been a minute ago because it was the last time in a while you can think of that the Red Wings were A, cup contenders, and B, right there for the cup. Obviously lost in 09 to the Pens, but it's been a minute. Since then, you know, especially with this group that we've seen, some guys are gone. You know, Vrana's gone, Bertuzzi's gone, and it's really been Dylan Larkin that's been expected to carry the load for the club in recent memory, offensively in terms of a lot of the goal scoring potential and abilities. And while Larkin's been able to get some 30-goal seasons, he obviously hasn't been able to reach the heights goal scoring wise that DeBrincat has. Do I think things could be good here in the sense of getting him? Absolutely. He's been a guy that's been able to score goals. And, you know, again, if the Red Wings, they finished 24th in the league for goals for per 60, not a great team offensively last year. They could use some additional goal scoring. Is this going to be a situation where we saw in Ottawa where it was a problem because he wanted out of Ottawa, didn't feel like he was happy being a second-line guy? I couldn't tell you. I think there's a few reasons why he's going to be happy. One, he signed an extension, you know, right away with the team. You don't, you know, sign extensions, I think, unless you know you're going to be happy, even if in the short term with the club. So, you know, maybe he forces a trade in a couple of years if things aren't working the way he wants. But again, to sign a 4-year extension, you know, it would be weird right away to be a guy that would complain, because then you get that whole reputation of, oh, unless I'm a top line guy, I'm going to be a problem for you. And then the second reason is he's projected to be on the top line anyway right now, according to multiple line projections. So I don't foresee this really being an issue. I think this is going to be a good thing for him. Obviously a Michigan guy, and for DeBrincat, the Big Cat, ready to play in another big market. Obviously played in Chicago. I know Ottawa is up there to debate, but it's a Canadian market that has some passionate fans. And then of course now you go to Detroit. They really could use a guy to produce goals for them, some timely goals, and we will see if he cracks the 40-goal mark and becomes the first Red Wing player to do so since the 2000s. The second talking point is, can Lucas Raymond and Moritz Seider end up having kind of steps forward, I guess? So both of these guys obviously were pretty incredible their rookie years, or at least good enough to finish first and fourth in Calder votes. And I think that right now you're looking at them after their sophomore seasons and are wondering what year 3 is going to be like, because year 2 for both of them wasn't, you know, what you were hoping for. Seider obviously bringing home the Calder in year 1, but, you know, him and Raymond had negative plus minuses, and I don't really look at that stuff a lot of the times, but both of them also saw their stats go down a little bit. So for Raymond, he saw his goals, assists, and points drop, as well as his average ice time. And looking at him, you know, there's a few things that stuck out. He played a lot of minutes with Dylan Larkin. Things didn't go particularly well there. They were outscored 30-15 in that time, and some nights he just did not get to play a lot of minutes. There'd be some nights where he'd really get a lot of minutes. Other nights he'd get 12 to 14 minutes. There was a stretch where he wasn't able to find the stat sheet, so you're kind of wondering what you're going to be getting here in year 3, hoping that maybe he can find a groove in those dry spells a little bit quicker and not have to worry about a long drought or anything like that. I will say this, obviously you want him to be able to be a good guy for you. He's a guy that doesn't mind shooting the puck a lot, finished 7th for total shots attempts I think, last season for the Red Wings. So again, a guy that is in just his second season that is going to fire away at the puck for you. You would really like to see him do well there. He is also a guy that probably could improve at 5-on-5 play. Defensively, probably could see, some changes there to improve his game. And in general, you're hoping that things can get and go well for him. He did get some good looks down low. So again, you're hoping that, more accuracy, more consistency, and just better over-round play. Again, at full strength would kind of be the ideal thing for Raymond. But, I mean, I don't see it as crazy to imagine him getting back to 20 goals and then, having a good year. He is projected on the top line at the moment. So I think year 3 could be a step forward for him, which is really ideal because, again, these are guys that were taken with really high picks for the Red Wings, and they'd like to see them do well. As for Seider, you saw a lot of the same things happen that happened with Raymond, where his goals, assist points went down, stuff like that. And yeah, he did play a few less games, and in general, you're kind of looking at this and hoping for a big turnaround. I think in part what really sunk him was he played a lot of minutes with Ben Sherratt, myself included into a big array of people saying it was going to be a bad idea to pair Sherratt with him. We're proven right. And, just one of those situations where I don't want to dog on Sherratt, but with Seider, you would like to pair him with somebody else. They ended up pairing him with Jake Ballman later in the year, and across the board the numbers look better, so you're hoping to see something good there. And while I know Seider is a young guy, you would say you got to pair him with somebody that you want him to be paired with, and pairing him and just kind of pigeonholing Sherratt in that role is probably not the way you want to go. Will they play minutes together this year? Probably yes. But I think when you're looking at a guy like Seider that is projected to be the top defenseman for them, that is playing 23 minutes a night, stuff like that, you want to be able to see good things. And when you're pairing him with somebody like that, you're probably not going to get the results you want to see. You would really like to see your top defenseman have a positive goal differential. Last year, that wasn't the case. Again, him and Raymond didn't have a positive goal differential. So we will see here. I also think with Seider and his ability to get some assists, maybe with an improved forward core, you could see him rack up more assists, which would be good. I mean, you're playing 23 minutes a night. You'd have to think that things are going to be good for you and the opportunity to get points. So I guess we'll see if these two take steps forward in year 3. If year 3 looks similar to year 2, then you start to wonder a little bit about what's going on with their growth. So the final talking point will be, will all the additions make a difference? The Red Wings have made splashes in the past 2 off seasons, and I don't really think that it's been anything crazy. But it is moves clearly to make improvements, or at least hope to see improvements. So last year they ended up getting 3 more wins, 6 more points on the year, and weren't a terrible team, which is a good thing. But at the same time, they weren't in the playoff hunt towards the end of the year. Their final 10 games, I think they were already eliminated at that point. So you'd kind of like to see some additions make an impact right away. You're looking, obviously, at DeBrincat, that's kind of already been mentioned, but some other guys as well. Jeff Petrie being one of those. And then, of course, you're talking about JT Compher as well. So these two are kind of not even just all the ones you could talk about here, but let's talk about them a little bit and what I think they could bring to the table, or just some of my concerns a little bit. So JT, obviously coming off of a big career year for Colorado. I, have seen enough from a lot of people that I trust to see that they do worry about the future for him and what he can provide for them, especially offensively. And the logic's already kind of there. You're looking at a guy that is coming off of a year where he did see career numbers on a contending team with good talent. Take him away now and put him on a team that hasn't made the playoffs since 2016. You kind of wonder what you're going to be getting with him. What role is he going to play? What line is he going to be on? All that stuff. I'm not going to say that this is going to be the deal that burns him by any means, and maybe he could provide positive value, but in general, I don't really know if we're going to be seeing like a 55-point season from him this year. Could we see a regression? I think I'm leaning towards yes. And then again with Petrie, I don't even think this could be a bad idea necessarily. A guy that's played a lot of minutes in the NHL and is expected to play a top 4 role for them this year. My biggest thing is he's almost 36 years old, and he's probably going to have to play a lot with Ben Sherratt. And if you're, nearing your 40s and having to play with a guy that is coming off of a bad year in his first year with the Red Wings, you're kind of wondering what he can do to even make an impact here. There's some other guys here as well that I do feel like, they could make a difference. But all in all, I don't think that these additions are so massive that it just, pushes that needle over. You can become a better team, but still not be able to get a whole lot more done, if that makes any sense. Because at the end of the day, some other teams are probably going to go out there and get those depth pieces, but also get some talent that pushes the needle significantly. I do think DeBrincat could be a good guy for them, and I do think some of these other signings might not necessarily be bad for them, but as of right now, you're kind of wondering, are the Red Wings going to have to get more aggressive in free agency next year if things don't work out for them? I mean, they've obviously had the ability to get and retain guys that are from Michigan, so I guess we're going to get to see here if Steve Yzerman's got a plan going into next year. He will have a plan, but I want to see if it's a little bit more aggressive or if they're able to catch a bigger fish if they need to. So, what are my overall thoughts for the Red Wings going into this season? Well, they're a team that, again, has some buzz going into their campaign, and I do think that they will be an interesting team to watch. You know, I think in general, the fans would just be happy with a playoff appearance. It was the norm for 25 years, and it has been the norm for, you know, we're approaching a decade at this point. However, I just don't see it happening yet. Going into this season preview, I usually have an idea of where these teams are going to finish because, you know, I do keep up with these teams enough to have an idea. And while I do think that there could be some improvements, I don't look at this team and say, yeah, this is going to be a playoff team. And I was hoping, you know, maybe I'd go in and do my notes and my opinion would change. It does happen from time to time. But going into this, I still don't just see anything that's going to make me say they are a lock. And a lot of people are saying that, well, they will see improvement too. They also don't think they're going to be a playoff team, which, again, I already had that mindset going into it. And then when I did my notes and then saw some other people's opinions, I just feel like it's kind of locked me in here. You know, the blue line has some questions. Will the goaltending be enough? Is there enough defensive commitment from the forwards? All really good questions. Do I think that they could be better this year offensively? Yeah, I do think they could be better this year offensively. Do I think that they are going to be able to, you know, secure a top 3 spot in the division? Probably not. It's going to have to come down to a wild card. And I think there's plenty of teams in there in the mix. I guess if they stay healthy, that is good. But in general, for now, I'm saying that I just want to see more improvement. And there is no reason that this team should be eliminated with 10 games left in the season unless things go poorly or they, you know, play bad within the division, whatever the case may be. It's about staying alive longer. So for this season, I'm hoping just to see something that would make you say they're on the right track. And then maybe in the following offseason, again, like I said, maybe Steve goes out there and gets some bigger fish. Anyway, what are your thoughts, though, for the Red Wings? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe. Have a great night. And you go love hockey, all right. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.